I'll be here soon. Don't worry about it. I'll be here. Do, 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 do. Hi. I'm here. I'm Cupcake. And we got painting to do. I got caught up a bit painting. I was like, oh my gosh, it's 10 to. I gotta start my stream in 4 minutes. Love. Gosh. So I've got paints. You got paints on your phone? No. That was earlier in the week we had do you got paints on your phone? But we got our McDonald's colour scheme today. Okay, just let me move these things around so I can see stuff better. There we go. Yeah. I was trying to test it out a little bit. I wanted to test it out earlier, but then I got caught up painting the squig, and I've still not finished. I'm close to finishing the squig. You want to see the squig? I'm kind of proud of it actually. It's almost finished. It just has some armor plating that wants to be painted and a bit of rust. And then the hand needs to be painted. It needs to be put into the mouth of the squig. but it's fine. It's fine. Here we go. Yeah, I think I've got better at painting rust. Oh my gosh, why is the color quality so terrible? What the heck? Yeah, the color quality is a bit bad, isn't it? Hi, Anthony. Oh gosh, why is the camera quality? I tested it out. It seemed fine. Maybe it's because I wasn't wearing gloves when I tested it out. Capri Sun Slip. Don't drink them. No, it's not the correct button. Okay, video capture device. Also, big squig. Yeah. Okay, make a bigger the video. Maybe the saturation's a bit too high. A bit on the dark side. So let's. Oh, it's because it's not as sunny as when I last set this up, is it? Yeah. Oh, that's better. That's a bit better. But yeah, if you take a look at it, I've actually done the eyes on it. Although if you look at it like from the front, it just looks very dirty. And can you focus on the big old squig? There you go. Oh my gosh. So much of a detail put into it's being lost by just the camera quality being absolutely terrible. Maybe turn off the light, that'll be better. Not really. Come on, focus. There you go. I guess that's the best we're going to get focusing. Yeah, I've realised that even with... Never mind. I just not want to focus on this if I bring it too close. Oh, you can kind of see that I've painted the eyes. Although the eyes are way more yellow than they are in real life. Oh, I hate this. Okay, there we go. Actually, from that angle, you can see the eyes a bit better. But yeah, so I've been painting like, you know, the damage and stuff on this thing. It's way too bright now. Okay, let's go back to trying to figure out the camera quality a little. Yellow on screen, they are green. Yeah, for green, they got some yellow highlight to them, but it's only a little yellow highlight. It's just absolutely insane that they're so yellow. And the shade of yellow is completely different from the shade of yellow around the eye. Like, the skin around the eye is more orange. It's meant to be orange. And it is kind of in real life. It's more of an orange yellow, while the eyes themselves are brilliant yellow. Okay, let me try changing some stuff. If I bring the saturation down... No, that's a bit too far down. Does that work? Oh, that works a bit better. I have to bring the saturation way down with that. Okay, let's lower the gamma a little so that the white isn't going to be too shiny. Increase the darkness. I guess a little better. You can still see the yellow of the eyes, but you can at least tell that the yellow in the eyes is a different shade to the skin. Still hard to see for white, mind you. Actually, I'm going to show the white off. Yeah, that's easy. Just create some shade. There we go. Yeah, so you can see I've done damage and rust on them. And I've realised that even with arts, less is more when it comes to doing your damage and your rust and stuff. So I started with this one, then moved to that one, then moved to this one. I've still got to do these. All I've done is the basic rough ideas of, you know, discoloration on them. I need to do the rust, I need to do the scratches. I need to do rust around these metal parts as well. And like scratches on them and on this thing. But mostly it's otherwise finished. I've then got like, where's the hand gone? There's like a hand that was meant to be out of its mouth, but when I was dry brushing, it broke off. So here we go. Here's the hand that's meant to be in its mouth. So this shouldn't be too hard to paint. Hello, there's a book to Russell, so then I'll glue it into the mouth so it's like hanging out. Because I thought that added a lot of character, but yeah. So this was like a massive test for trying to do gradients and painting on red. And I think I didn't do too badly, considering that the only brushes I used was this one. You can really see I used this one. This one, especially, sorry. And then these two to try and get the gradients working and to do the skin and stuff. I think I did a really good job. All considered. I think it was okay. I don't think it was the best job ever. I don't think it was the worst job ever. It is washed. The brush is really easily discolor. Like the brushes are properly washed. Like it's not even like dried and clumped up. Like I've even washed them with like hot water and dish soap and oh, what else is there? Vinegar. And yeah, the colour just won't. Some of it does when I do that, but most of the colour just still stays on them. It's because the synthetic brushes, the colour just really does not want to come off them. I mean, I can paint with white with them, and then they'll go back to being white. So yeah, but also try doing like pink around the skin, you know, where all of the metal parts are, to try and, you know, like make it feel rough and raw, and use some Camembert Crimson to darken it up. I don't know if that was the best idea. Might want to put some yellow there instead. But yeah, I thought this guy wasn't too bad. From the front, he looks a bit dirty. But you can barely see his eyes anyway. That means he doesn't have front-facing eyes. Does that mean squigs aren't predators instead of prey animals? My brushes are washed. Also, YouTube keeps blocking those messages, like coding from
Dirty Nurgle worshipper. Look how unwashed her brushes are.
My brushes are washed. I use hot water and dish soap and vinegar and stuff. It just doesn't come off. I've really tried. Yeah, you can see where. I don't know if that's any good or not. Maybe I should try adding like bruising. I don't know how red bruising is meant to go, like bruising on red skin. Actually, it's a squig. I don't think that you'd see bruising through their thick skin. But yeah, I thought it wasn't too bad. Yeah, I spent a good few hours painting this guy though. And a lot of it's just experimenting, so I need to like blow my nose. When I start talking a lot, like hay fever's like, you need to blow your nose. There you go. There we go. But yeah, just before the stream, I'd made do I have image 6 over here? I've made a schedule. Yeah, painting.
How's my favourite girl doing?
Hi, Native Engine, and hi. Did I say hi? But offers a book to Russell. Hello, how are you all doing? I'm over here. Hi. But yeah, we've got painting. We got the last combat, but I think it's the last one. Although they did charge me again and said I'm getting another delivery sent out on the 7th. So I'm like, okay, what is that going to be? I hope they're not just trying to send me Spearhead now, because if they are, I'm going to have to cancel it. I'm like, I didn't ask to get Spearhead. You didn't tell me I was going to get Spearhead or charge me. I'm gonna have to like debate it. But that being said, there's also like another... if there's too many magazines, I need like another file to file all the magazines away. But also, the Combat Patrol magazines come with some Corn Berserkers. Since I've already built some Corn Berserkers on the channel, I'm not going to bother building them on stream. But we're going to build a Forge Fiend on stream. I've also ordered some more. I realised I'm like basically out of plastic glue. So I ordered some more plastic glue and was like, oh, I want free delivery. So I added a Terrorgeist to the order. So it's like, oh, Forge Fiend anyway. And I want to turn a Terrorgeist into a Mauler Fiend. So then I can use the spare Forge Fiend pieces to turn the Terrorgeist into a Mauler Fiend. Yeah! Hopefully. That's where the Maulergeist building's coming from. More Rogue Trader and more paint. So tomorrow's painting is probably going to be Mechanicus. The Dwarf Cam is literally just going to be painting that Votann more. Do bombs. So yeah, I'm basically out of this. Also, look. So my Votann had some issues with, you know, the paint drying a bit thick. And you can actually see here a little bit, like, if you see it's grainy, that's not for camera quality or anything. That's literally the material is grainy for paint. I'm not sure what made it dry grainy. I mean, it was relatively warm and extremely... Oh, that broke off again. Windy. So, yeah. So, but where it was for worst at being grainy... I was like, okay, I'm just going to have to fix this somehow. And since it's acrylic paint, I just used plastic glue. But if it's super thin down plastic, because it's super thin, it doesn't damage the model much. I can just basically thin for paint. That's on the model. Make it smoother. It's not too bad. Like, of these things, I can feel the texture even through my gloves, but the texture isn't very obvious. And honestly, I don't think seeing the texture is necessarily bad. It's mostly on the vehicles, but there's some others where it's also bad. But yeah, I was painting this guy, I was doing some test painting, and I realised that maybe I don't want to paint all of these little trim areas as black. Because that's going to be a lot of work across 1,000 points of models. But so far I'm thinking, I want to do this section here, yellow, that section here, yellow, that section here, yellow. Anything metallic as black, that would normally be metal. These buttons and stuff, I'm not sure what I want to do. Maybe like green and yellow on them. Or green, blues. Oh, we could do blue on them, like blue and green for these buttons and stuff. That could be good. This, I'm thinking of maybe doing like a shabty bone. Oh no, wave bone with maybe some Myclan flesh or something on it to get like the fluffy thing. Or maybe it'd be good to also do for fluffy fingers. Yeah, actually, yeah, we'll do fluffy fingers yellow. Gotta do these straps as yellow.
This scheme, I'm loving it.
I'm loving it, yeah! What I am thinking about trying to do is painting a T here, but like for McDonald's arches, kind of like turned into a T. It will require freehanding. I'm not that great at freehanding yet. This is pretty bad for the paint being kind of rough. It's fine. I just like add dirt flecks to it and stuff, and it will just look like it's dirty rather than, and the roughness is was on purpose. So yeah, that could be good. But I'm not sure I want to do for black stripes here and stuff, because it takes a good few minutes to get all this black done, and then you gotta do multiple layers, and it's like, so I'm not so sure about that. Sounds so laughable that Brits say scheme instead of plan. Everything sounds more sinister. Paint plan. Why would he call it a paint plan? A paint scheme. I've never heard anyone say paint plan. I mean, we do use the word plan, but not for everything. Like, we have plans of action. I've got a plan of action, not a scheme of action. A plan of action. I've got a plan for how to improve stuff. There you go. So yeah, that's the rough theme we're going to go for. Everything else will be pretty much red. And maybe I will do these stripy bits. Oh yeah, the harness over here and stuff is going to all be yellow. Does he have a seatbelt on? He doesn't. And I think I might do the trim around the edges and stuff yellow as well on the coat. Very much when a plan comes together, even if we are super evil and we were scheming. Yeah, I don't really know many other times we will say scheme that much, to be honest. I mean, we got schematics. Everyone has schematics. I think for gloves as well, I want to do yellow. But this bit will be yellow, that bit will be yellow, this bit will be yellow. The harness will be yellow. Maybe I'll do that lime yellow too. Unsure what hair colours I'm going to go for. And skin colours and stuff. Sunglasses will probably be black. So yeah, I'm thinking first we just do a practice of our scheme on this thing. Oh yeah, so if you're wondering what I dry brushed them with, I dry brushed them with Wild Rider Red. I was thinking about doing Pink Horror instead. But nah, I'm happy with this, I think. I think I'll do Right and Flesh Shade as well. To when I'm doing shading on the red. Or maybe on the yellow too, actually. That could be fun. That's the base layer. Also, what do you think is going to be like? Sunday is the day where they announce like pre-orders and stuff for next week. What do you think is going to go on pre-order next week? Do you think it's going to be more old world stuff? Do you think it's going to be Age of Sigmar, Ogre Tribes, Exodites? What else was announced ages ago but hasn't yet gone on pre-order? Oh, we've got the new Horus Heresy stuff as well, the Custody. It's not just Horus Heresy. We got new Custody stuff. Microphone, come down here. We might also just like take a week break and say, hey, there's nothing for pre-order. Or it might just be something minor. Could be for Lord Exultant. Not Lord Exultant, the new Hedonites character. No, it's already had the individual release, never mind. Because that came out with the rest of the stuff for Hedonites. The issue of yellow is that you need to do multiple layers of it. So yeah, we got... The great thing about this scheme is everyone's going to be loving it. I'm going to get so many compliments just because people will be like, I'm loving it. Even if they hate it, they'll be wanting to say the joke. And then it will all go to my head and I'll try to go for world domination. When a plan comes together. I do sometimes hear Scheme be used in a more workplace format. There's got to be worry. Don't mention nuggies around your models, or else you won't have any models anymore. No! No, for nuggies always come in for white boxes. They don't come in for... It's for fries that come in for yellow packet, for red and yellow little package. And for Happy Meals. I'm loving it. Hi, Flash. My girl be scheming. Scheming. Do. We're scheming. Do. This is an auto cannon, by the way. It's not just like a light machine gun, it's a full-on auto cannon, a rail auto cannon. No, Magna auto cannon, so it's basically a railgun auto cannon thing. It's going do. Right, like and with that, they can fire 66% more bullet with every bullet. Because it won't use gunpowder, it'll just use magnetic oils for launch.
Can the Capri Sun carrier a serving of fries? No. Worst model ever, of all time. 0 stars on Yelp.
You're joining the kin. I've had the kin for ages because we got taken for Combat Patrol magazine originally, and I was like, also the Combat Patrol magazine was coming out around the same time as the new kin models, so the Steel kin and the Kapricus carriers. I was like, I like the Jaegers, I like the Kapricus carriers, I like the Steel kin, and we're getting some models from Votann anyway with our models with our Combat Patrol magazine. It's just I'm finally coming around to painting them. I didn't know what scheme I wanted to do. I didn't want to do blue because I'm already doing a lot of blue schemes, especially with my Orc and my Black Templar and my Mechanicus. And at one point I was planning to do my neck ones blue. And now I'm deciding to go for more lava scheme. Because yeah, I just couldn't figure out what colour I wanted to paint them. And then I was like, I don't want to paint from like any of the leagues out there, but there's a lot of league colour schemes already. I was like, hi Rock Barney, how you doing? Have a Capri-Sun carry a serving of fly. It can carry a small servings of flies. Like, you can put some small flies back here. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, it can carry some small flies. Ah! We get it because of the Votann or small flies. Do they have the same thing of being called small and short? I don't think they do. I've not heard any law about them hating being called short and small. Let's go in for book. Darn it. If you paint your Yeet, maybe we could paint the jackets yellow instead of red. No, I like the red on them. I mean, it'll be red and yellow, so that's like enough the same packaging for the fries come in. But no, I don't think the... I don't think the Votann have the same thing about being called short. Like, ah, yeah, we are short. As far as I'm aware. Being short is very useful. Efficient. Let's go and give him the car. Yeah, the car's not going to remember it. Don't worry, it's got memory failing issues. They did have an entire thing when they first introduced, you know, all about grudges and stuff. But they seem to have very quickly decided they didn't want a Votann just to be, again, another dwarves with grudges. Which, to be fair, honestly, I kind of prefer. Like it is. It would be a bit boring just to like, oh, we're introducing the Scots again, and yeah, but the whole grudges are basically exactly the same as the dwarves from, you know, fantasy, but with clones. And more advanced guns. Giving them their own unique feel is way better. There we go. I want to do the top bit in yellow too. What else? Oh, you have the back of the feet want to be yellow. And the straps want to be yellow. They literally showed up with judgment tokens that got applied to units if they killed the stunties. True, but that's what I'm saying. Is they came out to originally like, yeah, let's just make them all, you know, holding grudges and stuff. I know, Fate. But Votann is, I feel like Votann gave up on that idea relatively quickly. Relatively quickly. Like, you don't really see it much in the lore. But that little law that they have. Little. And they don't have the judgment tokens anymore. Instead, they have the yield points and stuff. Like, it's only when I was looking at, like, the old rules for them and so on, that I found out that the Votann originally like, had the entire, you know, keeping grudges. I think it's only, like, minorly mentioned a couple of times in, like, the codex and stuff. And in the combat patrol magazines that they also, you know, remember grudges. Instead, they're much more profit focused now. Like, they'll abandon grudges for profit. Or ignore grudges for profit, more accurately. Which I think is cool. Hi, Nanofate. Hi, Talan. We're making yummy Votann. Yeah! Nom, 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 nom. Okay, now I need to get a different Votann out to paint. We're just painting the yellow onto this. We're basically using this guy as our experimental Votann. Testing the colour scheme out on him. There are just various levels of lethal hits. 1 token applied lethal hit that unit. 2 and 3 made it go off on better dice value. Yeah, I've seen the old Back to the parts that they did for it. And honestly, Votann at the time seemed ridiculously overpowered. Like, it was just so unfair watching them play against other groups. I was like, this is not fun to watch. This isn't... You're just doing so much damage. It's like, oh, so I get lethals on 4s. Also, I'm rerolling to hit. Rerolling those to wounds. Also, my character gets to inflict 6 mortals onto you. It was like a child just made up all the rules of the Leagues of Votann. At the moment, Tau and Mechanicus feel a bit like the same in 11th at the moment. Hi, Seridrin. Turning me into a cat, you big old meanie. Indeed, very dumb, especially since we're just applied. Oh yeah, that's at the start. It's like at the start of each turn. It's like, okay, I'm gonna apply a bunch of tokens to you. And also, since I just destroyed this unit, I'm going to take its judgment tokens and apply it to this different unit. And it's like... I mean, honestly, I say Tau and Mechanicus are a bit similar. They're not that bad. And they're kind of similar in the fact it's like everyone else is having to deal with -1 to hit and stuff. Meanwhile, Tau and Mechanicus are just like, yeah, we completely ignore all of this cover and stuff. We're just going to make it so that your detection range is now 18 inches or 20 inches in some cases. Oh, and also we're getting +1s to hit and sometimes +2s. We should make Warhammer, but using the metric system. Battlefleet Gothic. Didn't that use centimeters and stuff for Battlefleet Gothic, not inches? Also, Warhammer kind of uses both. Like, bases are measured in millimeters. It should make it... You're telling me Battlefleet Gothic is bad? Anthony, sick him! I knew it was bad because that one guy in Warhammer group that definitely not meant to chase the source. Trust me, bro. Took one look at the rules and picked them up immediately. Oof. That's not good. This is how Talan's cousins all got hit by cars. Just insulting the wrong people's hobbies. It's a Talan bloodline curse. Joe stars have to deal with Dio, we have to deal with cars. I'm gonna turn off my air conditioner, it's boiling and it's cold enough in here now. Yeah, this is a very weird colour scheme. Dio, 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 Dio. Look, everyone wishes they could deal with Dio. I'd rather deal with Dio than deal with AI. I mean, Dio can be beaten by a bit of sunlight. By throwing a bit of water in his face and saying it's filled with ripples. By putting ham on his head. Sometimes the JoJo bloodline has to deal with cars too. Yeah. What about Cars 3? That's a film, right? It was Wheel of Fortune. Wheel of Fortune. Is it strength or wheel? Yeah, what strength or speedboat? Evil. The worst episode. It was like, please Dio win so I don't have to deal with more JoJos. That final fight with Dio was so bad. Or maybe it's just because I don't like Jotaro that much, to be honest. Joseph is way better. If Dio was in Warhammer, people would be calling him a good guy. Like Warhammer 40k. But like, well, he's not as bad as the Tyranids, is he? I mean, there's Imperial Lobos or Western Dio. In fact, he got rid of some of the bad Imperial Nobles. Dio is so much better. Dio would just be the new Lucius Eternal and you know it. Oh my gosh, that would be cool. It's like, well, at least he's not as bad as, what's his name? Conrad Kurz. Oh my gosh, the naming conventions of Blooming JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is identical to the naming conventions of old Warhammer. Dio would be the new Sanguinius. Nah, Sanguinius is better than Dio. In terms of like personality. Dio would be more like Perturabo, I guess. We've both got very similar arrogant personalities. Either blame everyone else for any failures that are clearly their own fault. Sanguinius is dead. Nah, this is what Sanguinius wants you to think. I guess it's also a firefight to colour scheme, isn't it? Red and yellow. Look, that one gonna pull red. Hi, sunshiny rays. How you doing? I hope you're doing okay. Sanguinius will never be dead, not as long as his sons live. I wonder if a black raid is caused by Sanguinius' psychic mind still trying to come back from the war. But why giving chaos? But not having the absolute worst time. Loses sister, loses Abdul, loses that chick, loses Abdul again, loses Iggy, loses legs, loses Silver Chariot for a time. He deserves it for looking like Dyer and attacking Abdul. Ornath deserves all the suffering he has ever suffered. Like, if I was under the control of Dio, I wouldn't attack Abdul. We adding Poland after 40k, whatever faction he picks up gets moved to Legends. Oh no. I'll pick up Ultramarines. Ultramarines will never get moved to... Well, all Ultramarine models get moved to Legends. Squatted. Games Workshop just suddenly one day stopped selling and promoting Ultramarines. And just never mentions them again. When people ask, they'll be like, what the heck's an Ultramarines? Oh, like, go onto YouTube, go onto all of the old videos, and just replace them with new videos where it's like, once originally was how to paint an Ultramarine, and now it's how to paint a Crimson Fist. The entire We Demand More Ultramarine videos becomes We Demand More Crimson Fist videos. Hope for Tau picks them up. Ultramarines get replaced by white consoles.
I just felt a disturbance in the warp, as if many Kalgas all screamed out in unison and then were suddenly silenced.
What the heck's a Calgar? Oh my gosh. Games Workshop. What's it called? Bribes Reddit to edit every single Calgar post into a Rogel Dawn post or something. Or Target Gideon post. Oh, that would be hilarious. the entire world just wakes up and one day Ultramarines just don't exist. And Games Workshop just like doesn't even reference it or mention it or talk about it, and people are like, was it just a Mandela effect? Did we change timelines? People go into the old posts across various social media. Oh no, that's the entire reason why the British government's now trying to install malware on everyone's phones. So that really it just searches your phone for any pictures of Ultramarines and turns them into pictures of Crimson Fists. Or Blood Angels or something. Oh, just in your sleep, you wake up thinking you hear a noise in your bedroom. Suddenly, you just get like a, what's it called? Chloroformed. You're knocked out, you wake up. All of your models that you painted as Ultramarines. Or do you know all of your models that are converted from things like Victrix Guard or had an Ultramarine on the base? All of them have been repainted. All the Victrix Honor Guard and stuff have been replaced by something else like Sanguis Guard. Games Workshop would go that far. I don't put it past them. But you painted, so you wouldn't lose much. Nah. I'll lose my Victrix Guard though. That'll be sad. And my Tyrannic War veterans. For Battle for McCrag, for Battle for Windsworld again. But this time Tyranids. There we go. Also, it's fun to say all the models that you painted so you wouldn't lose much. And look at me, I'm painting. You jerk. Yeah, big old jerky jerk. Like Russians. Russians are evil. No. Wow, Windsworld. Yeah. No, Windsworld RYNNN. No, double NS. Do. There we go. And voila. There we go. Look at that. Oh. How many blue...
I mean, how many blue marines do you have painted?
None. I'm painting my Black Templars. Actually, a few have included for blue Black Templary stuff. Oh no, all of my Ultramarine blue paints and Caligar blue has to get replaced by some other. All the labels get changed out. Okay, there we go. I need to clean this magnifying glass. What the heck? Lens cleaner. Windsworld can't catch a break. It was World Eaters in Heresy. Then Art. Then for Death Guard. Then Nids again. You know, Windsworld. And the book about Windsworld literally is made out of jeans. It's made out of denim. Or material that's designed to look like denim. There we go. That's much cleaner. No, it ate my dwarf. No. Beautiful. Feels like I should be able to squeeze fish. And it'd be like, they should release a stress ball squig. Like just literally one of these, but just a stress ball version of it. It'll be amazing. I want like 1 million of them.
You thought it was McDonald's, but it was actually me, Iron Man.
Oh yeah, Iron Man's also red and yellow. That's because he's sponsored by McDonald's though, so you know. There we go. My gosh, I am tired today. I don't know why. I think it's because yesterday we've been struggling to find my flavoured water that I normally have. All of it fruit. The one that does have sugar in it. It's been very difficult. So my father was like, we found this one instead. I'm like, okay, I'll try it. But I think it'll be bad because it's got all this artificial flavour. No, it's not actually artificial. But it's one of the sweetness, non-sugar sweetness that haven't been good for me in the past. But I tried it and I was very ill afterwards. I wanted to finish a squig yesterday, but I didn't have time because I was ill. Now this morning I was just feeling so awful. There we go. Oh, do. It's looking okay-ish. I need to get more black onto it again. Wonder if I should do for gun black. Or like the barrel of it at least. Or maybe like gun metally colour. Lead voucher. I think red will be fine once we got like the skin of the gloves painted. It requires a lot of work. Back again. Back again. Tell your friends. Tim Shady's back. Hi, Native Engine. The issue with is like, okay, I'm only going to use 3 or 4 colours for the entire colour scheme. Doesn't really work to speed up the process if you're going to paint all of these little details and all the trim and stuff in different colours. So you're going to have to be careful. There we go. So maybe I won't do all of the trim on the coat and stuff. Yeah, that'd be too much effort. Hmm. Okay, let's get the bluff done. I think I'll use maybe watered down iodine, yellow contrast for the shade. That might be good. I'm not sure. Could use agate. No, aggressive shade would be too dark. Lightened flesh shade. No, that would be too reddish. Hi, long stocks. There we go. You know what song I should do a cover of next? Eminem's Slim Shady. Magna Coil. But normally that's mostly things like, you know, scouting forces, pioneers, Jaegers, Kapricus carriers. Hi, TA. I'm going for a very bright and colourful colour scheme. Like, you see these scouts. It's like, what's those red and yellow things of far distance? Like, oh, that's just the Votann scouts. Don't worry about it. The kin or whatever they call themselves. Just don't go near them. They want to sell you a burger. Or some very soggy fries. I'm thinking maybe Tarpo, of Tarpo's successful mining company, chose this colour scheme because he found like ancient packaging and was like, ooh. To be honest, this guy looks a little silly holding his gun. No, don't worry. He's meant to be at the back like this. Well, she is. She is meant to be like this, so it's actually going to be attached like that. Like Toyota pickup. There's like a little stand for them and everything. It's just I didn't glue them in, so it's easier to paint both them and the carrier. So don't worry about it. Yeah, he was digging deep on like one of them, you know, for old colonies. And he found like, oh my gosh, it was just full of red and yellow stuff. Like polymer packaging, little figurines and stuff. And it was like, because it was deep underground and because it was like on this far out world, he was like, oh my gosh. And because it's made out of this heavy duty polymer that doesn't degrade, like, oh my gosh, this must be a mining company. The most successful mining company ever. Look, they dug all the way down here, stole all of its resources, and then just filled it with, you know, their own stuff. What other mining company could be that successful? Completely unaware that it's just a landfill. And that McDonald's was actually a food company and toy company. That just produced a lot of disposable waste. Yeah. Non-recyclable. There we go. Okay, I think I saw the yellow done on this little person. Ah, little. Okay. Hello. I've read. Do you want to let's see the size difference between an arc and a Votann? This is an arc hand. This is a Votann. And it's like, yeah. I keep noticing your silly swirl on your hair. Good.
I keep noticing your silly swirl on your hair.
Well, it likes you. I've always had this swirl, and I always will, because it's my favourite part of my model. Just having some water. I'm choking on water. I'm not designed for it. I'm designed for cola. My body is just like rejecting it. I drink of its own cola. Why cola? Why cola? What color should I paint the skin? I'll go for super pale, like Scottish skin. What would Boss Lady think of this? Should be angry. Think of this colour scheme, or think of a swirl. But Boss Lady also had a swirl. Everyone has the hair swirl. Or do you mean for McDonald's colour scheme? She'd love it. I thought she'd be like, maybe it should be my colour scheme. Because I am the best food on he sells cola. There we go. Oh, leagues of Votann her. Yeah, McDonald's colour scheme. Red and yellow. Although, I guess many other things are also red and yellow. Like Iron Man. There's some black highlights here on there. Maybe the tip of the gun can be black.
That's a butt.
What's the butt? Hi, Ireland. A butt of a gun. And also, hi. Quagmole Great and Mighty Skin. That's one strange gun. Yeah, it's an autocannon. It goes to the back of a carrier. So it's like this, usually. Just sits back here. Basically, like, do you know mounted? It's a mounted gun. It's just I moved the entire model. I didn't glue the model in place. Okay, let me stop myself flying. Minus. Minus. Why does it shrink? I mean, it makes a lot more sense now. Yeah. But it's just hard to paint if it's on for back of that thing, and it's hard to paint for that thing if it's on for back. So I just took it off. Okay, any other bits want to be black? I don't think so. Maybe little things for nah. I should limit the amount of details that I want to paint black. Like, you know, fiddly details. It's quicker. Something was very off for me with how that top mark was mounted. A thing where it would be, it is even dumber. Forward angled top loaded box magazine seems a bit silly. I think it's inspired by real life weapons. I imagine what would happen is when they want to reload it, is they'll probably just dismount the entire gun or pull the entire gun back so that it's like angled like this, and then they can reload it from the protection of the carrier without having to like put the head up or whatever, or try leaning over and around. That's how I imagine it is. The Brits are still in love with Bren. What's Bren? Sorry. Oh, the Spren submachine gun.
Misery word of the day, boss. What's up, boss? Who's we robbing?
We's robbing the goblin. Oh, we're robbing the goblin. The goblin owes me money. Hi, Denizen of Mystery. How you doing? I hope you're okay on this fine, beautiful day. Most of them were straight mags, or they were angled towards the operator, right? I don't know about any gun runs that were angled towards the operator. Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. Look, the dwarves. I don't know what's going through a dwarven mind. I'm 6'4". But the way they think is beyond me. I do hope we get to see more Votann lore. They look like a fun faction. Yeah, more Votann lore would be cool. Or more kill lore. How do the Votann sit? They squat. No! Honestly, it's kind of surprising that Gene Stealer cults came back as a faction when, you know, I didn't leagues of Votann, or more accurately squats, get killed off after the Gene Stealer cult. And it was the leagues of Votann that got, you know, squatted. They created the term squatting in terms of, you know, getting rid of a faction from Warhammer. It wasn't getting Gene Stealered. Jeans still need a bunch of new stuff. Just to make them cooler. Only 2. How many cupcons does it take to reach the moon? 1! Gosh, my magnifying glass. Oh, I forgot to do the little clip on the side. And that thing too. What about 3? 3 would be too much. Look, cupcons can do anything they want. They can reach anywhere if they want. It only takes 1 of me to do anything. But only if I feel like, and I never feel like. I gotta start Eldari for Exodites are calling to me. Exodites are also calling to me. I feel like Gene Stealer cups need to be completely refreshed. I don't think... There's only a couple of things in Gene Stealer cups that I think are done correctly. I feel like the Goliath Rock Grinder is way too small for what it is. The other car is fine. And the jackals are fine-ish. But for the rest of it, I think they need better designs. The aberrants need to be like much bigger. Like in Rogue Trader, aberrants are so massive, and then in the board game are so tiny. And Prince Uriel, I'm going to turn him into Princess Uriel. Oh, I've got a Prince Uriel that was turned into a woman as well. Oh darn it! I just completely messed that up. I thought it's not. See what is? She's not Princess Uriel. She's just meant to be more, you know. Because no other Corsair character. And I wanted to use my own character, not a Corsair. Not a named one. I'm not going to start for Exodites unless I can paint from like Drukhari. You can paint from whatever colour scheme you want to. And there's even law suggesting that the Drukhari will step up to defend an Exodite world. And have alliances with Exodites. What were we read? What was I reading the other day? Oh yeah, it was the car robot from Leviathan, and it had some mentions of Dark Eldar and Eldari coming to defend, like, you know, Spirit worlds, the ancient Eldari world and Exodite planet. So Drukhari Exodites actually makes perfect sense. Just like Drukhari Corsairs. They probably wouldn't be Drukhari themselves, mind you. We might have alliances with them. Eldari suck. They live in spaceships all day and don't even touch normal grass. It depends. Exodites are fine. They're Eldar. They live on planets. In fact, a lot of Eldar do live predominantly on planets, like the entire Ranger group. They like to be on planets all the time. They don't like to be on stuck on flat worlds. Exodites are ranked grass touchers, yeah. In before they collapse Drukhari into Eldari and add 3 Space Marine Codex into Elf. I don't think they would collapse the Drukhari into the Eldari. It makes no sense. The Eldari could do with a new codex for just, you know, Eldar allies that both Drukhari and Eldari can use. Same with the Imperial Agent. Except considering how Games Workshop treats Imperial Agents, maybe you don't want that. they're going to release an Exodite codex in time, because there are rumours that there's going to be more Exodite releases. You just find that improbable thing funny. That being said, I never know what Games Workshop's going to do. I hope we get Exodite terrain. Oh wait, we already have them for Sephiroths. Kind of. That's what I'm disappointed about the new Kill Team set. Like, what is the new Kill Team set? It's got Exodites in. It's got no terrain in. Like, this would be for perfect. I'm gonna lower this camera a little bit so the light will be more just on the actual model, so it would be a bit brighter. The camera's struggling today with this colour scheme. I'm not sure why. Maybe it doesn't like oranges and reds and stuff. Maybe I need to get a better camera. Sam's walks into the table. Oh, Dory. Exodite terrain. Exodite terrain should be a bit like Craft World terrain and stuff, but, you know, normal Eldari terrain rather, with webway gates and stuff. But it would have been the perfect opportunity to release out. Like, Kill Team often comes with terrain and stuff. It would have been good. Perfect for another. Because when was the last time that we got forest terrain for 40k? It was a very long time ago. Like, very alien looking forest terrain would be amazing. Even if that's all it wasn't specifically Exodite terrain. The other thing that's sad is that it didn't release with another Kill Team. It instead just released with the Snagger Boy stuff, and the Snagger Boys are like the most disappointing art at the moment. Being relatively monoposal with very few options. It just feels like such a cop-out release. Like, they could have easily released Squidhog Boys. And some, like, I collect art. I have some Beast Snugger Boys. But it still feels so weird that you get 2 blooming Arc units in your Exodite box release. Like, they could have released Dark Herald, or they could have done Grey Knights. They could have done, like, any other type of, you know, Kill Team with them, or at least, like, some Kill Team terrain. Kill Team terrain comes in season openings in 2 mode, wasn't that long ago? True. True, but they could have still done some terrain. Like, even if it wasn't full actually proper Kill Team terrain, and it was like, you know, what about that one where the Tyranid terrain came out? Where it was more just decorational terrain rather than actual playable terrain. That's what they could have done for them. Yeah, I'm not sure I like this black trim on them, on the legs and stuff. Oh, maybe I'm just being a bit crazy. Bit demanding. What's this? Kiss left flesh. Yeah, we'll go with kiss left flesh. The dwarves are Scottish after all. I'm just glad it's not another guard team. We've had enough of these. No, we've not. How many guard kill teams have there been? There's been Aquilians, which were cool. Recon Squad, which was amazing. Casvikin and Death Corps. We still need for Armageddon Arc Hunters. How do I play as Inquisition? What faction is that under? Yes, it's Imperial Agents. There's multiple, but you can just like get an Inquisitor, ally them into your army. Into like any other Imperial army. And now that's an Inquisitorial army. Especially with Sisters of Battle or Grey Knights, which both work with the Inquisition directly. It's funny because X-Knight Kill Team has insane interactions with terrain, supposedly, but the set comes with none yet. And none of the terrain currently in Kill Team, you know, is fitting with the Exodites. Like, what the heck's going on here? What colour hair should I give her? Ooh, thanks, Kundra. Yeah. Yeah, Imperial Agents are kind of being treated terribly at the moment. Not the best options to play. I mean, if you really want to, you can play them, but it's not a team out. It's not a codex I would recommend getting right now. Imperial Agents have a lot of nice kill teams, so if you want to get into kill team. I like the little Imperial Weirdos. I've already started collecting agents. It's just with how Games Workshop's been treating them recently, especially with 11th. It's like, oh, your 3 detachment points, but all of your detachments suck at the moment. You got no army rule. Well, except your army rule is just allying with others. If they can't ally into your army, you can only ally into theirs. You've got extremely limited detachments, so your detachments affect only a select few units, which absolutely sucks. All of them are 3 detachment points, and the best game size for Imperial Agents, because you don't have any tanks, is 1,000 points. And technically, until they release the Erector for the rules, which will allow you to use 3 detachment points in 1,000 points, you can't technically play 1,000 points games anymore with them. Like, even for access, you can't. They did say this will change. Like, there's a bunch of rules that currently aren't in the game with 11th edition because they're not in the core rulebook. But apparently are going to come out with the Erectors and stuff. Just the Erectors are going to be a while. I don't know why they couldn't have just released the day 1 Erector, but you know. The next Carmen Rider is a Tom and Jerry themed. What? I do like the Imperial Agents. It just feels like they need to get more stuff going for them. I think the Cotios model just absolutely sucks. But now pair them with Sisters are great. You can pair them with any army you want, any Imperial army you want. Grey Knights and Sisters are the 2 armies that makes the most sense. But yeah, one of the big things is to do a Stormtrooper army, so Tempestus Scions, but have it being led by Inquisitors and stuff, because then they can be Inquisitorial Stormtroopers. Next buy is going to either be Navy Breaches or Death Watch. Death Watch are cool. Death Watch has some very funny rule interactions. I just realised the Death Watch army idea I had is going to be a lot worse in 11th. Because the entire thing was using lone operative given by going Spectre skill teams. And then using the Phobos Librarian to give them lone operative basically. But now with Hidden for being an infantry squad, it doesn't really matter so much. I guess with lone operative you can't just increase the detection range of them, I guess. I believe. Well then what they'll do is they can just teleport across the battlefield with respect to skill team rules. And then I gave them the Librarian and Conclave, I think it was. So every single unit has a Psyker in it. And can do a bunch more stuff. And now that's one detachment point, so it does make the list a bit more Inquisitors are great if you're doing Librarian Conclave because you can attach them to your intercessors and stuff.
Maybe this is the addition of the Great Grey Knight Refresh, and the Great taking out back of the Death Watch.
No, don't get rid of the Death Watch. The Death Watch have new models. The Death Watch have newer models of the Grey Knight. Literally came out last edition. They did try to kill off the Death Watch last edition, but a guy at my local game store told what the Navigator does, so I might want to give them a squad before getting the Death Watch. The Navigator is really cool. The Navigators used to be so powerful when he could take an Imperial Guard. Like, they could just look at a Titan and instantly strip its void fields. But if you used to get Lame Knights, you don't like them. Grey Knights, do you mean, or do you mean Imperial Knights? Grey Knights would be the perfect kill team to honestly do at the moment. For them to make. Firefighters. Looks like hobby Grey Knight models are still just as relevant today as they were back then. I think there's like one new model since then, and also new upgrades too. Terminators' battle line is still very silly and very funny, yeah, but Grey Knights aren't the only army that can do that. Dark Angels can as well. And every Space Marine army, normal Space Marines, can get 60 Terminators anyway. With the fact that you can have your normal Terminator squads and your Assault Terminators. and 60 Terminators is already 60 Terminators, each led by a captain or a chaplain. Is already about 3,000 points, just a couple of dreadnoughts short, if you add some agents in. 60A, you can take 3 squads of 10 normal Terminators and 3 squads of 10 Assault Terminators. Have your Assault Terminator, let's say, either your Assault or your normal Terminators led by Chaplains. Then have your other Terminators led by Captains. And then add 3 agents in. And that's almost 3,000 points. How do I know? Because that's one of my armies. Also, Imperial Agents get Battle Line Terminators. Not just Grey Knights. Also, I feel like Grey Knight Terminators just aren't as good as other Terminators. Like, a lack of Power Fist of Thunderhammers, I think, really hampers them. I think this helps a lot. Yeah. Imperial Knight Terminators or Grey Knight Terminators, true. But not in the Grey Knight Codex. Hence, Can Grey Knights get normal can get like other types of Terminators as non-battle line? I do plan to get to the Knight Mechs. Or the Imperial Knights. Very cool. If you're doing Imperial Agents, you pretty much have to take an Imperial Knight, either 3 Armigers or a big one. Because it's basically your only way to get like really hard-hitting heavy armor. And it's not like you have to worry about them, you know, working with the army rule, because you don't have one. Or working with your detachment rule, because your detachment rule is already so limited. Okay, what colour hair do I want to give her? What colour is this? Mornfang brown, let's do this. Thinking Canis Vex. Ooh, Canis Vex is pretty good. Get 12 armor. You can only have 3 armigers allied into your army. That being said, you could get 12 armigers and then just ally Inquisitors, Imperial Agents into your army. Actually, should I give her coloured hair? Maybe I should give her coloured hair. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. What colour should we do her hair? I'm thinking white with, or maybe not white. White will be a bit difficult. Pink, no. Green, nah. Ooh, actually, yeah, Fulgrim pink. I'll give her Fulgrim pink hair with Lothern blue highlights to it. Oh, that'd be amazing. Have you guys ever did a mercenary setup to play different units from different factions in one army? Back when you could do, yes. There was for allies rules for a long time that allowed you to basically play any army, 2 armies together. So you could mix and match them. Yeah, I'd imagine Votann like hair dye. What I like about Canon Specs is the little dude walking alongside. That is fun. Now you can run Armigers and Traitor Guards plus Cultists. Wait, you can run Traitor Guards in Chaos Knight Army? I thought you could only run Cultists in them. I keep when people mention War Dogs, I keep thinking Warhounds, not War Dogs. I keep getting confused. I'm like, my gosh, you bought 3 War Dogs! My gosh. You must be made of money. Looks like I realised I wish Warhammer as a concept reached me as a kid. Yeah. I mean, there are still ways to do some allying, like in Apocalypse games, you can do allying as much as you want. Votann and Tau are so... Votann get their much needed AP, while Tau get their brick. Votann have a lot of AP already. That's the woman who runs Hearthguard. So, you know, I get full plasma weapons. Like, they've got AP-free plasma weapons, my goodness. That don't overheat. I think I'm rapid fire them. And they've also got the AP2 plasma guns, or whatever it is, on their warriors instead of the bolt guns. Thanks there, that's Dr. Smilix. How you doing? How you doing today? I hope you're doing well. You could always try kill Team to kick off. Here's a small squad version of 40k. Game has maybe 12 models on the table. Yeah, that's always a good way to play. For game to play is like if you other people around you like proper board games. Necromunda. Okay, I probably need to paint the roof to represent that she's got dyed hair. Probably need to get the Mornfang brown back. And they might bring allies back again. It's unlikely because of balance. But like various campaigns and stuff, and things like Apocalypse allow you to do as much allying as you want. But again, these are like campaigns, so it's not necessarily about trying to keep it balanced. Or like competitive gameplay, because, well, they basically throw that out the window. It's just fair. Necromunda's a little bit of a complex game. System where skill team is basically 40k, but as small as possible. It's all got its own complexities. Hi, not Dr. Smilex, Night Parade, sorry. I missed you. Missed you there. I do remember discovering 40k thanks to Dawn of War and Fantasy thanks to Blood Bowl. I remember loving the sleigh and the haircuts. Oh, I just discovered it. I can't even remember how I discovered Warhammer. Oh yeah, it was the White Dwarf Codex. Yeah. Not Codex, White Dwarf. So I'm bringing in an old one that like the uncle had or something. And it was full of Tyranids. Maybe we should just move to a major city in your state. I wouldn't uproot. I mean, uprooting your life for Warhammer might be a bit much. Especially if you like start playing it and you turn out you don't like it. I know the Freeblade game, but it never occurred to me that it was a Warhammer game. Oh. I got back into Warhammer, I think, in part because of Total War. There you go, she's now got pink and blue hair. I bet I'll add her roots in, which will be Mornfang Brown. I also want to learn chess, a universal game everyone plays. Chess is easy to learn, hard to do well. There we go. Okay. It's probably easy to buy a chess set. Yeah, I'll make a chess set. And try to do anything 40k flavored. There's also many ways to enjoy 40k. You don't have to like buy. You don't have to do where's Scarlet? I want to use Scarlet. Oh no, Evil Sun Scarlet right here. You don't have to play the game. You can just build and paint if that's what you want to do. I still haven't started building a Chaos Knight. Ooh. Good luck with building your Chaos Knight. Oh. There we go. Don't forget to share it as well on Discord. And Ben, you can play chess online for a low cost of nothing. Yeah. Playing chess for free, getting better at chess, that'll cost you. Actually, no, there's lots of places you can play online for free. And like you can play against bots and stuff and learn the game all for free. I've never understood people who do play chess by just memorizing effectively all of the different openings and stuff you can do. And like all the different things like that. I always played as like, you know, just go, okay, so this is where my opponent is. They could move here, 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 or, you know, for future, move through here. This is a possible, or this is all the possible things he could do. What's the most likely that they would do? That would give them a victory. How do I stop that victory while still going for victory myself? It's basically just, in both cases, it's just thinking 9 moves ahead. But in one of those cases, you're just trying to memorize as much possible plays as possible. While in the other, you're just trying to work it all out. And in both cases, you're going to have to be working out anyway. But I've never had the memory for memorization. Okay, so this is the rough colour with just all the base colours added. What would be a good colour to paint over yellow? Reichland, maybe? I could try Reichland. You know, for a shade. Oh, the bluish hair looks great with it. Yeah, it's pink and blue. If I can get a good thing, it's pink with blue highlights, like very light pink. And then the roots are brown. Wait, could I do this so you could focus on it easier? Yeah. That works. Look at all the mistakes and the details I've done. I heard chess if you can ship the pieces together. The knight, the white knight, is in love with the black rook. Oh wait, that's Fire Emblem. I want a cheeseburger with a demon engine, please. I want a cheeseburger. I've not had a proper meal today. Okay, let's... Reichland Earthshade on the red should do well. Also on the skin, it should do well. Not Earthshade, Flesh Shade. I wonder, can we do it onto the yellow? Would it still work there? It would. It would. Reichland Flesh Shade has quickly started to becoming my go-to shade for pretty much everything. It's just such a good shade. Not over for hair. I got brown roots, so it would make sense. It's a small cheeseburger. I'm currently cooking cheeseburgers with sweet potato fries. Ooh. I was planning to have tempura chicken with beans and chips. But ordering a cheeseburger also sounds good. The entire model. You know, I should just dip the model in the Reichland Earthshade thing. Why am I using a small brush? If the entire model's just being dipped in Reichland Earthshade, I should get the bigger brush out. The actual shade brush. What do you mean don't drop it in the pot? What are we gonna do if we don't drop it in the pot? We just drop it in the pot, shake the pot up really vigorously, and then that's it. No, don't drown it in the flesh soup. Drown it in the flesh soup. Okay. No, money down. We got this all wrong. Anthony got that message all wrong. Oh, no, you did do it. No, I'm completely missed, but no, do it. Drown the dwarf in the flesh soup. Yeah, I misread that as, no, don't do it. No, you got the message right. Never mind then. I don't need to make my Simpsons reference, which is sad. I always want to make a Simpsons reference. Oh, that's where I should have painted red. Nah, whatever. I shall eat the paint pot. Nom. No, the dwarf's in the paint pot. There we go. I mean, painting the underside of the shoe is not important because eventually I'm going to get rid of them. Maybe I went a bit too thick with all of this shading, but that's fine. Or if it's too thick, I can always just come back with a clean brush and wipe it away. Paint Eater's Rise. No! Don't you remember the old thumbnail? Don't eat the paint. Now, without a base, it's quite hard to hold this model without messing up the paint. Paint bearers, emulsion eaters. Ah, my shoulder just popped. I keep doing that every time I close up. Not every time. Often when I close the paint pot, I just like break in my shoulder. It just goes pop. Okay, so let's look. Where's the worst offenders of the Reichland flesh shade being a bit too much on the model? Let's just brush this away. Brush over excess off. Okay, and already it's looking a lot nicer. We just need to add highlights, wait for this to dry. And go back over to do highlighty bit. And maybe try to paint the eyes. The eyes look like they held to paint. Still in its socket though. What's still in its socket? Sorry. What colour should I paint my demon in? Just any colour you want to. McDonald's got cheeseburger colours. Chicky burger. Oh wait, while we're waiting for this to dry, we could go on to the next model. Or we can see our extra is coming next week. Next week. Oh no, the starter sets. Okay, I am excited for the starter set stuff. My issue for starter set is I want the guardsmen. No, not for guardsmen, for marines. I kind of want the dice. I don't care about the core rule book. I already have one. I kind of like this book. I kind of want. I don't really care about. I don't care about the orcs here. That's my main issue. I do. I'm going to get an introductory set so hard. I already have all of these paints, but I want all of these marines and I want all of these orcs. The rest of it is kind of meh. These things are meh. These things are meh. Getting started. I am thinking also about maybe getting one of these getting started sets. Although I think I'd... Ooh, Ghost Cicadia. I think I'd... Because they're not going to be limited edition. Probably. Also, if these getting started sets replace the combat patrol, like if they don't release the combat patrol instead of they just release it as getting started sets, this would be so much better than the old combat patrols, especially if they don't sell them for ridiculous prices. Like those old Tyrannid and Space Marine combat patrols were just such a waste of money. Like having these, like how to paint your Space Marines, having some paints, having some brushes, having the starter set models, that is a much better way to do these things. And then maybe release a separate combat patrol that's not using starter set models. Long shot. So Black Library's got Ghost Cicadia. Is that the that's a sequel to Long Shot? Yeah, so this is the original, I think, and that's the sequel, I believe. Oh, which one? I don't know which one's the sequel and which one's not. Oh, Devastation of Bars coming in hardback as well. Nice. Warhammer TV. Ooh, Age of Sigmar back to report. With... I don't know what that's meant to be, actually. Ogres? Slanesh? Does anyone know what that model is? I know not very... Yeah, Longshot is the first. It said in the lip. Oh, wait, they don't. Oh, First Adventure. Yeah, I missed that first book. I missed the word first. Zoom and enhance of Age of Sigmar. Okay, we zoomed it in the hand, starve away. Could be deep sea? No, that looks like Slaneshi symbols, maybe. It could be a really good conversion, mind you. I wouldn't be surprised if it looked like building with the Ogre tribes. I've looked a lot at the Hedonites of Slanesh, unless it's... Is it this guy? Oh, it is this guy. Yeah. It's just a way better colour scheme of this guy. and I think it must be converted. Yeah, it looks converted maybe. Or just really good colour scheme. I like how I could actually do a zoom and enhance. Zoom and enhance of this dude. Who is he? Painting. Oh my god, that's actually a really good painting job. Deep strike. Deep strike. I don't know what deep strike is. Yeah, I've been looking at my armies and stuff. I'm like, I definitely want a second land speeder. I definitely want 5 more Vanguard veterans, but I kind of just want to wait for the new Vanguard veteran kit. I kind of want to convert this Marshal again into another, well, this captain into another Marshal. And if I get the introductory set, I'm going to need 5 more intercessors. 5 more intercessors. So, you know. That guy's obviously for Duncan Rhodes we have at home. I don't know who Duncan Rhodes is. I'm sorry. Then you got the starter here with the clippers and the paintbrush and lots of paint. Any interesting paints here? So you got Armageddon Dust, which is meant to go in your base. You've got Abaddon Black, which is a good basing colour. Agrex Earthshade, Lead Belcher. Oh, what's this? Vakar Flesh is that? I think that's Vakar Flesh. Which is an okay flesh tone. Mephiston Red. Athalan... Oh, that's a really good yellow. I like Athalan Sunset. Arvik Flesh, which I don't really think is a great colour for Orcs, I'm entirely honest, personally. Morfang Brown, that's what we're using. Corvix White. It's okay. But I like White Scar White better and Wraithbone. Retribute to Armour, good colour. Sandry Dust, also good colour. That's a bit more interesting actually, Sandry Dust. Sandry Dust and Armageddon Dust are basically the same type of colour, but this one's a texture paint to go on your base, but this one's really good for adding dirt to your model. Like by dry brushing on. Bye-bye, Dr. Smilex, it's nice of you to be here. Look up old painting tutorials like you dude with mousy brown hair. That's Duncan Rhodes. He has his own channel now where he still paints stuff. Oh. We should do McDonald's Warhammer 40. That would be cool. Warhammer 40. If they do another Warhammer 40k movie that releases in theatres, you could get that happening. McCrag Blue, also an okay colour. I'm not a big fan of base colours in general. I much prefer layer colours, to be honest. Just because they're easier to use. They're basically already partially thinned down for you. So yeah, this is actually pretty good stuff coming out next week. Yeah, I think I might get the introduction. It depends how expensive these things are. So what paints do you get? You get Retribute to Armour, Abaddon Black, Lead Belcher. I mean, I do need more Retribute to, I guess. Auric Flesh, Morfang Brown, a paintbrush, Measure Tape, 6 dice, MDF terrain. It's not bad. So this is a pre-painted terrain as well it comes with. Does any of this say it's like limited edition? Yeah, I hope these aren't above £105. I hope they're within, you know, a normal price limit. I hope they're at Combat Patrol prices or cheaper. Like, otherwise it's not worth it. I feel like it would just be better to get the starter set. I hope they're not just going to repeat what they did with 10th edition. Because that sucked what they did with 10th edition. Okay, they're looking okay, this little model. a bit shiny from the Retribute, not Retribute armor. The, what's it called? The shade. Okay, what colour do I want to do for the highlight on them? I'm thinking maybe pink cover? Or where's my Wild Rider red? Do you know this orange colour here? Apparently it's red. I did actually already dry brush them with both Evil Sun Scarlet and Wild Rider red, so actually not isn't too bad. But we'll go Wild Rider red and start doing some highlighty stuff. Yeah, I generally prefer to do experimental models. Like if I've got an idea for a colour scheme, I'd prefer just to paint a single model in that colour scheme first before doing batch painting. And that's what we're effectively doing now. Anything I don't like about it, anything that I thought just took too long, I can figure out then and there. Okay, now I need to pin that bit. Like, maybe I don't want to do more trim. The trim feels like it's...
I fear that 3 guys in a basement would make a better 40k movie than anyone else could. To that end, what kind of 40k movie would you make?
It's difficult to say. I think you'd have to do Space Marines. And the main thing I'd want to do is... Actually, no. If I was going to do a 40k movie, I would do normal human, Imperial Guardsman, and then have the Space Marines, like, you know, partial POV of Space Marines coming in. Just because if you put it into theatres, if you're hoping other people who aren't 40k fans will watch the film, then you're going to want to appeal to the audience. So you're going to want to do some... I think maybe make it a bit Saving Private Ryan sort of thing. Use Tyranids as the main threat. Or Orcs. Orcs are a good threat because they're intelligent, they speak. Chaos is a less easy to understand threat by a general audience, while Tyranids would be very good as well. I think Orcs and a Gene Stealer cult also being there would both be very good threats to have into a film. Put it from one guy's point of view, and what would it be? Maybe something in the vein of, you know, Inglorious word I'm not gonna say. Saving Private Ryan wouldn't necessarily be a good idea because it's not necessarily representative of 40k. People going out to save somebody else. And I think I'll go live action with CGI and practical effects and costumes. Personally. Rather than animation. Because 1, again, it appeals more to the mass audience. 2, people are more likely to take it seriously. And 3, I think it's just a lot easier to get across like emotion, get decent directors on board and stuff like that. I'd probably water down 40k to some extent, to be honest. Again, to more appeal to the mass market that would be like people who don't know 40k. I'd still try to keep it relatively grim dark, and I'll probably go for the same sort of thing of maybe they are going out to save someone, and the person they save is just completely and utterly useless. It was like a massive waste of life, giving you this very sort of grim, bittersweet ending. But yes, they succeeded in the mission, but the mission was kind of pointless. And maybe that while on the mission, they managed to do something else that is good. An Inquisitor film would let people see the human society as like the future, and the Guardsman film like Sharp would give you a good feel for aliens of the universe. Yeah. The alternatives is do something like a Judge Dredd style film with Arbite. Or, as you said, actually, a good film that would be very, very good if you want to go fully grim dark. But again, it's less likely to make its money back, even if you do it well. Is Inquisitor film, where the Inquisitors are trying to hunt a gene stealer cult on potentially like a relatively nice agri world. Would be good. Like, so you can see, so you get like various grim dark parts of the Imperium, while also having it being a bit more relatable at the same time. Like, you'd be able to see like 3 distinct classes within the Imperium: the super rich, the super poor, and then the people who are fortunate enough on this agri world to live in like a more middle class lifestyle. And obviously, you'd start with the super rich people. Like, the Inquisitor comes onto the planet, speaking to the super rich, saying, hey, I'm here to do my stuff. And as they're searching for the gene stealer cult, they'll be going deeper and deeper into the society, down one layer at a time, until eventually, like, there's going to be a few rich people living in these mostly empty cities up top. But as they go down, you've got to get to this more middle class, which is more lifestyle that we can kind of recognize, but with some dystopian differences. And then they go even deeper, and that's where the majority of the people are. Or they go even deeper than that. And it's like, oh my gosh, even more people, even more crowding. And that's where the gene stealer cults really have their strength. And you could go like very dark, like go, you know, detective noir with it and stuff as well. If you did an Inquisitor style film. A Sharp style film could also go well. I mean, if I was going to make a 40k film, the first one I'd make would definitely be trying to, like, if it was to release in theatres, trying to appeal to a more mass market of people who don't know 40k. I think that would be the most important thing to do. And I think it's also important to do because, quite frankly, I think it'll just give us a better film. Like, some of the best books that have been written in the 40k universe, like Kaifus Kane and stuff, have gone for more mass market style appeal. Like the Commissar, who's a nice person. Often when he interacts with Imperial society, it's not as grim dark as or grim dirt as other books are. And often the books that are complained about, they get very grim dirt. Or very grim dark. And I think whether people like it or not, I think that's one of the complaints that people subconsciously have against them. I was thinking a Guardsman style movie, holding the fortress against the Horde, giving it a feeling like D-Day scene in Saving Private Ryan. I think an Inquisitor film, I think in either case you'd want Space Marines to come in. Like an Inquisitor film, you could have like this silent, ominous figure always behind the Inquisitor, basically a Death Watch. And then when they find the Genestealer cult, suddenly you just get like this drop pod crashing through the cities and Space Marines appear. Like it's a Death Watch drop pod. And you get to see the Space Marines being cool. That being said, I don't think that would fit necessarily with the theme of the film. So maybe instead you'll have the Death Watch being spies. But with the Guardsmen, you'd have the Space Marines as either enemies or friends or mix of both. Personally. But again, it's just to like show like Space Marines are one of the coolest parts of Warhammer, and it's something that can appeal to a mass market, especially to teenagers and stuff. So, you know, go for Space Marines. But have your main character be a human who people can relate to. Space Hulk the movie. Genestealers are similar to Xenomorphs, which people are familiar with. I think Space Hulk would be a lot better if it wasn't Space Marines in it. Oh, actually, you could do a Space Hulk movie. Split it into two parts on, you know, two perspectives. You could have some scenes which are set in the modern day of Terminators, or like an Inquisitor with some Death Watch dudes, going through a Space Hulk, wondering what has happened. And then you'll have other scenes going in the past, where you've got like a couple of, you know, naval officers or guardsmen or whatever, trying to survive as these Genestealers and Broodlords are destroying everything. That could be a really fun way to do a Guardsman story. To do a Space Hulk, I think. But you could also do the people investigating not be Space Marines. But again, I feel like choosing not to do Space Marines would be a waste of potential there. You need to have your Space Marines. It's not Warhammer without Space Marines being there as much as people complain about them. I'm not sure what else I'll do for Warhammer story. Quite a bit shiny, this paint. That's the issue with shades. They often dry shiny. It's fine. This is why we highlight on top of them. It's looking okay, this model. I don't mind some other parts of it dry shiny. Just cover part. Okay, where's pink cover? If you had Astartes, you probably want them to cameo in the first movie to show off how different they are to normal humans and have a follow-up film about them. I also feel an Imperial Navy movie could work. I wonder if you could repurpose Master and Commander. Potentially. I feel like there's a lot of movies that could work. Some of them would feel a bit derivative. Partially because, you know, they are derivative. You could also definitely make a very... What's the word? Space Hulk? Not Space Hulk. Starship Troopers. So... From 40k. Yeah. I think you need a couple of Warhammer films before you could start going in. Like, do you know, just to introduce Warhammer to the mass audience before you start going into the more deeper Warhammer stuff? You're being too optimistic. The first Warhammer movie we'll get is Warhammer Adventures. No, we already have a Warhammer movie. It's called Ultramarines. It was terrible. It was on DVD. I've actually not watched it, so I've only heard it's terrible. Okay. First movie follows Guard for cameo, Marines in it. Second movie have it be a prequel from Marines' perspective. Would be fun. The Marines are the poster boys, but make it clear they can't be everywhere, even though they kind of are. Okay, let's try some Wraithbone on this face. If we're making a pale, then the highlight should be extremely pale. Okay, maybe that's a bit too pale. And a bit too heavy of a coat. Trying to get to these lips, very difficult to make good. Yeah, she looks terrible on the camera. It's fine. Bit by bit, we'll improve it. Looks like a clown. Ultramarines is not a great movie, but it is watchable in terms of plot. Was that as John Hurt? It also has a Sugar Puffs monster in, I believe. Yeah, the issue is Ultramarine movie was made like long before Warhammer Plus, and Warhammer was still not the massive entity it is today. So yeah, they didn't necessarily have the funding for that type of stuff. Warhammer Plus has come a long way since then. Okay, the faces started to look a little better anyway. And it... yeah, she's not very good. I don't do the eyes at all. Maybe I can put some tiny amounts of white into Earth Shade to get some more shadow in. Like just some watered down Earth Shade. Not Earth Shade, Flesh Shade. Ooh. I keep calling it Earth Shade. Get under the cheek. Get into all of the shady parts of the model. Anywhere light was struggle to put. At least the face isn't shiny anyway. It would be nice if they put for Warhammer, for Ultramarines film on Warhammer Plus though. That's one thing I think they missed out on doing. It would have made a lot of sense to put it I tried giving her some pink on her cheeks, so she looks a bit more alive, but wasn't very well done. But oh, how does that look now? Not great. It's not the worst face ever. Definitely not the best. I'm gonna have to wait for it to dry. It looks like she's got shadow on her face now, doesn't it? In terms of, you know, she needs to shave. Wait for that to dry a little bit anyway. Let's get some love and blue into her hair again. I imagine Votann women need to shave. Or plenty of them do. Heck, plenty of women actually do have to shave. Did you know that if you get stressed enough as a woman, your testosterone increases a little? Well, literally, it can increase by a lot actually. And then it can actually start growing facial hair and, you know, upper body hair. And then once it starts growing, it never stops. Which, because of exams and school and stuff, more and more girls are having that massive testosterone increase as they grow up. I think you could repurpose the major story beats of Master Commander or Tale of a Grand Cruiser-led Chaos Battle Group. Nah, you know what they need to repurpose? Battleship. Have you seen the film Battleship? Yeah, just use the film Battleship. Just repurpose that entire plot right there. Be a relatively weak cruiser. Task Force. Hi, Foxy. How you doing?
Hello, Cupcake.
Hello. You know, we repurpose a film Battleship for 40k. Actually, that would make sense in 40k though. You know, enemy cruisers coming into system, massive Xenos or Chaos ship. You've already got is an ancient Imperial frigate or something, or battleship from time long gone by. And it might even be grounded. Oh, that would actually be so cool. Like a grounded Imperial ship, like battleship, some massive ship. Oh, what's it called? Flagship ships. And it's like on a planet, and it's been turned into like some sort of pleasure palace or something. And the Imperial Guardsmen have to like deal with and like naval officers have to deal with trying to get all these nobles off the ship to get it back into working order, but they can't get it to leave atmosphere. So it's just like hiding behind mountains and like on the other side of the planet, launching off whatever torpedoes and missile batteries and stuff it has, and like weapons that will be able to reach into orbit to fight off the enemy ships. And because it keeps hiding like under the water and behind mountains and stuff, they're struggling to target it, so they end up having to bring in some ships down to the earth so they can directly fire upon it. Oh, that'd be so cool. Oh my god, Halle Berry as a gunner on an aging battleship would be silly. Oh god. Alternatively, do it from the Necron perspective. And Imperials are invading your world. Your tomb world. And you need to get in for basic, if they got orbital superiority, you need to get rid of the orbital superiority, but they've already taken out your Gauss pylon network. And they've stopping the scarabs and spiders and repairing it. So the only option you've got now is to take one of your ships that you have down at the bottom that was inside one of the giant museums. What do you mean they already did that? Oh gosh, yeah, actually, Warhammer could also work with just really silly films like that. And if they kept the budget relatively small and just made it silly, so it's like good for Warhammer fans. They could potentially make some money back from it. Okay, where's my Cadian flesh tone? There it is. Slightly darker to fit my issues. Ah, gosh, my shoulder once again popped. I need to do more exercising. I need to work out so that my arms aren't going to pop every time I close a blooming lid on a paint pot. There we go. I find doing darker skin tones so much easier than doing light skin tones now. Ever since this practice doing darker skin tones. There's a precedent for an older ship that's otherwise been mothballed and cannibalized the parts being pressed into surface. Victoria-class battleship is one of my favourites after all. Yeah. I mean, especially with carriers and stuff today. I mean, there actually is various ideas for turning old battleships or re-bringing battleships back into a modern era. One is just using modern day technology to make battle cannons that, you know, can shoot across multiple continents. Or just fire something into orbit, which we could do. That would be much cheaper than having a carrier. In a lot of ways, it will be a lot more expensive than having a carrier, but also a lot cheaper than having a carrier. It's a bit of swings and roundabouts. They don't let Hollywood get to a movie in the first place. But the other thing is, it's literally just having, like, you know, the giant cannons being used to fire drones and missiles and stuff. Like, specially designed missiles. Now, that is kind of stupid in its own right, though, because why not just have proper missile tubes? But why not just do it normally? It's like, because we want to get the battleships again. Literally, there is an entire group that just wants to bring battleships to get round. So they just try figuring out any way that they can make battleships useful. I am not being facetious when I say there's a private lobbying group doing that. It's just stuff that exists. But sometimes, or most of the time, private lobby groups are just interested in what they can get and stuff they want. As I said at the start of this, Native, 3 Guys in a Basement will probably make a better movie than anyone else. Yeah, 3 Guys in a... That being said, the Ultramarines movie definitely felt like 3 Guys in a Basement. From the little bits I have seen of it, and that I heard about it. Okay, how is this face looking? Definitely not the best face ever. It does not look that bad in real life, I feel like. I want to say. I'm still not used to painting faces. Maybe I need to thin for paints more. Maybe I need to get one of my larger brushes to smooth out the entire flesh. Or whatever. Actually, that might be a good idea. Get a larger brush to smooth out the flesh. If 3 British guys in a shed can make one of the greatest, like, rifles of all time. Not just that. I'm pretty sure 3 Guys in a Shed also made a pretty decent tank. They can make the greatest 40k movie. Maybe. Maybe. I spent way too long on this face for how bad it is. It's not the worst face ever. It's definitely not the best. I mean, the eyes I did okay. say that much. The eyes are fine. For the most part. A fight to Mafia. I might be. I can't really remember what groups they were. I know that there's also certain politicians that are part of it in terms of wanting to bring back some of his older tech. But it includes battleships, skirts and styles of fighters, even propeller planes to some extent. Although there is actually arguments again for some types of propeller planes to be brought in, especially now with the rise of drones. Or cheaply destroying drones and stuff. Because I say propeller, what do they call it? Turboprop planes, turboprop. This is actually a prop plane that's designed to dogfight that's still used by certain countries, and arguably would be for much better dogfighter, but it's just the fact that, you know, jets and stuff will never dogfight because there's no need for them to. But against drones, there's actually an increased reason to want to keep around, you know, dogfighters. A plane that's cheap to produce, cheap to make, and can easily target and destroy drones using bullets and not missiles. Because missiles are expensive. Or, you know, just put anti-drone warfare weapons on them. Okay, oh, I completely messed up one of those eyes. Ah, whatever. I need to paint for yellow. Again, my elbow is popping. Not my elbow, my shoulder. I mean, for Grandpa Buff, the B-52 has been going since the 50s. Maybe they have a point. That's not actually the type of stuff they want to keep around. Although... And the B-52 as it is today is not the same B-52 that was around in the 50s. It's a very modernized version that we've got now. Same for a lot of the tanks and other ancient vehicles that we've got. In certain countries, yeah, but some of the old vehicles and tech are still just the exact same, pretty much. There we go. Yeah, messed up that face a heck of a lot. Painting faces, maybe I'll do a darker face next time. Darker faces are a lot easier because you've got a lot greater range of them. Shades and colours you can use easily. When it comes to like modernizing infantry equipment, it can actually be quite difficult to, in certain cases, to actually modernize it. Because you're very much like, even a slight increase in cost of an infantry equipment will see massive costs. Like when you got 10,000 infantry, an increase of like £10 per infantry is 100,000 cost to you. And then over multiple years, multiple weapons, you're actually looking more into hundreds of thousands it would cost you. It's also hard to know what the infantry would actually be best equipped with and need. Like, do you want to give them an anti-armor equipment? Are we expecting to fight heavily armored troops? We should make a modern Falcon bomber, give it enough fuel range to reach the Falklands and back. Yick! The other thing is like, and if you do give them the anti-armor weapon, that's going to be a lot heavier than a normal rifle. So you're going to have to make, you know, all sorts of things, like you won't be able to have as much ammo carried on your person. Maybe it won't have as good a range, or maybe it won't have the same fire rate. So you end up losing out on a bunch of other stuff. It's like, okay, does my increased technology mean that I can still keep just as good a weapon anyway? It's like, not really. Like, in some cases, yeah, we do have better lightweight materials and strong materials now, but they're expensive. Especially if you're trying to make basic infantry equipment that's meant to be relatively expendable. Your infantry is not meant to be relatively expendable, but the equipment they've got is. So and then it's like, okay, what about modernizing the armor? And that's very difficult. Mostly because there's all sorts of rigorous stuff that the armor would have to pass. You know, cold weather, warm weather. Very difficult to actually pass all of the different needs. Yeah, her face looks so bad on camera, my goodness. Why? Like, I mean, it's not that great in real life, but it's still not as bad as it is in camera. Have to mess with the colour off the screen more. Maybe it's about time I do try investing in a better camera. Because it is a document camera, so it's not really designed for this level of, you know, this type of use. Designed for showing documents to people. Not PDF files, like you print out something. So it
It is, as certain nuclear plant manager would say, not great, not terrible.
I'm still trying to paint skin though and get better. I'll look up how other people paint skin. Definitely done better faces than that. I think maybe the right and flesh shade messed it up. I don't know. Actually, I wonder if the burger places are open. There we go. So there we go. That's the rough colour scheme, I feel like. Maybe I should get some pink horror onto this for better. Nah, I think the highlights are fine. We'll do the little lights and stuff on it. Who's Techless Blue? I like Techless Blue. Techless Blue's been amazing. So there we go. And where's my moot green? We can do that next. Got a little bit of wraith bone in there. Maybe I need to water down Vicon and Flesh Shade more than I am already. Maybe I'll add more medium to it or something. Contrast medium. Okay, I definitely need it. Push it now. Okay, where's the lid for this one? There it is. Get back to this tiny brush. Now divide a red. Actually, no, we'll do the reflections after we do the white. Come on. There we go. That's good. Yeah, I absolutely messed up this face. I'm not even sure how I meant to fix it now. Okay, the rest of it is fine. Oh, guess because I've gone like no grey onto this. Let's get some. I think Administrator grey would be good. No, let's get some Mechanicus grey. Yeah, Mechanicus standard grey onto the black. Yeah, but it has like no sort of highlight number black. So just black. I don't know. This paint is not very well mixed. I don't want to put this in. There we go. Yeah, just get some grey on black. Let's work out that matte paint. I think maybe I won't do for black on the other models, or at least not as much. It takes a long time and then I focus paint these areas back. And I'm noticing various mistakes already that I've not fixed. There we go. Yeah, the face is letting down the model a lot, I feel like. The rest of the model, it's not amazing, it's not bad. It's a test model I've painted in. Okay, other people can paint a full model quicker than me. But still, painting a full model in a single stream is very quick for me. And very difficult. So, especially with how many little bits we've done. Oh, we've done a face. I need to get like another crystals in there. There we go. Get some Neverstone red on it. Pick some of this matte. And then Avaland, Sunset. I almost said Avaland's Flesh Shade then. I better hope it's not a Flesh Shade. Well, Simpsons Flesh Shade again. Keep playing Avaland for turning yellow. We're getting a bit jaundiced. When you call them yellow belly rascals. Okay, how does a model look outside of a face? Yeah, I definitely went too hard with the flesh shade, I think. I shouldn't have done that. I should have just trusted myself to do highlights on it. And then been more in point with the flesh shade. I think that's a massive issue I did. Left these big old shiny areas that are a bit dark. Other than that, I think it's mostly fine. Yeah, I don't think flesh shade is a good colour to do over the yellow, mainly because it adds a bit of red tinge to it. And the red tinge on the yellow next to the red just makes it look like paint overlap more than anything else. So I think we'll find a different... I said at the beginning of the stream we should do iodine yellow over it, and I think that's what we should have done. So we know what we need to do in the future for them. I'll look up a tutorial for painting skin. More better than currently. More better. I tried mixing pink and stuff. How does it look under here? What the heck? Why is that so shiny now? I don't know. Is a McDonald's scheme okay? Are we loving it? Turn off the light. How does that look? Okay, she looks a lot better when you turn the light off. And by a lot better, that's still not saying she looks good, but, you know. There's definitely someone, if you're around her, turn the lights off, she'll look a lot nicer. Ronald would be proud. Yeah. I mean, it's not terrible, it's not good. Maybe I can do a bit more highlighting on them using like some... Yeah, I think it's definitely iodine yellow will be what we'll go over Avaland for the darknet parts. For the shade. We won't go with Reichman flesh shade and for yellow anymore. I think that's just... That is a terrible idea. But this is why we're here for it. I might continue trying to do the black on them. I only have... How many Votann models do I have? I've got 6. 10 Jaegers, 6 Steelkin, 3 Thunderkin, 5 Half Guard, 10 Warriors, 2 Carriers, and a Call. That's not too many models. I can do some trim on them and stuff. It would be fine. Yeah, I think maybe the flesh shade on the face was also a bad idea. I think it would have been easy just to go Cadian flesh tone. Or maybe Raykar flesh tone, then Cadian, then Kislev, then just like build it up with dark and light layers. back again. Hi, Native Engine. What do you think of our models so far? Yeah, actually, I do think this yellow paint, this very bright yellow, works well going over. It's very nice, actually. Oh yeah, we'll finish off the yellow in any circumstance by doing this. Cute little killer. Yeet. It could also be lifeguard, couldn't they? It could be lifeguard, it could be firemen, it could be Iron Man, firefighters, rather. Or it could be McDonald's workers. You never know. How does it feel to paint regular-sized humans? They're not regular-sized humans, they are Votann, so they're thicker and they're shorter. So far, I think the closest we've done is a Skitari to regular-sized humans. I meant for guard. I've not painted any of my guardsmen yet. But when I was painting, I remember doing them in mass batches when I painted guardsmen as a kid. I'm being really impressed with myself when one of the batches I did every single eye with an iris. I did every single eye. I actually used special extremely fine point pens to do their eyes. I'd use a thin brush. It was actually a very damaged brush where I just got it into some of the bristles because, you know, they only had a few bristles left, and then painted the eye white, and then used a fine pen to paint the colour of the eye, the iris, and then a different pen to paint the pupil black. That was fun. I painted them over a weekend. Yeah, I used to be able to paint like a full squad of dudes, like 100 dudes actually, over like the course of a weekend. No idea how I did that. I don't really remember much detailing at the time other than just doing those eyes like that way. But guardsmen have changed a lot since then. They're a lot more detailed. And their faces are a lot smaller. I painted the Ancient Guard, which were, you know, nowhere near as detailed, with much bigger hands and much bigger heads. And my colour scheme was extremely simple. It was literally just green and brown, and then flesh. All of the last guns were green, all of the armour and helmets were green. all of the everything else except for skin was brown, and then the skins were whatever flesh shade I had access to. So I think it was just very basic flesh tone. Small little faces of small little people too. But it's a change in scale. They went from heroic scale back when I played. So heroic scale generally meant like big hands, big faces. To more true scale now, where everything's meant to look more proper. It's lagging. No. Oh, I did increase the number of ads again just to see if YouTube's gonna hate me or like me now. And it seems YouTube massively prefers me having more ads. So sorry if you're getting more ads again. But YouTube really didn't like it when I switched to less ads. Because I had 3 streams where I had less ads and I was getting less views, less people got notifications about my streams. I was like, oof. No ads for me. Aww. That means I'm making no money from you watching me. No, it's fine. Although if YouTube's listening, it's not fine. Unless you got premium, in which case it's super fine. Yeah, every premium view is like worth 10 ad views. It's actually insane. You had to reload the stream. No! You get money from a like. But actually, you don't get any money from the like. But it does help me out. More you interact, the more you like the stream. Literally, it's better. Literally, whether you dislike or like, it will promote me in the algorithm. So do either of them. But preferably like, because it makes me feel good. It makes me know that, hey, you want to see more of this content. If you dislike, it'll just make me feel bad. But YouTube will still promote the content if you dislike. That's a stupid thing. If there's something you dislike on YouTube and you don't want to see more of it, don't dislike it. Just go into the little settings and go, show me less of this channel. And literally everyone's happier for that because, like, I don't want people watching me who don't want to watch me. I get to recommended who aren't going to be watching me. And the same goes for the vast majority of YouTubers. They don't want to be getting to recommended by people who don't actually want to interact and watch with your content. Because click-through rate is an incredibly important statistic. I'm getting the idea that I should go back to Blair Bars. And if you want to, if you don't want to, it's fine. It's not like the difference is that important. It's important when you're getting like 100,000 views and 10,000 of them might be from premium, in which case that's massive. But when I'm getting like 200 views and 10 of them are from premium, it's like, I mean, after a couple of months, I can buy a Warhammer box. YouTube is a very strange mistress, as they say. But yeah, if you're It is interesting that liking and disliking basically do the same thing in YouTube's eyes. If you do come across content you do like, just say, don't recommend this channel. In fact, some YouTubers, they specifically make content to get disliked because they know sometimes it's easier to get dislikes than it is to do likes. For instance, promote a bunch of content no one agrees with. Just saying a bunch of horrible opinions. Everyone starts disliking it. People start commenting saying you're stupid. YouTube goes, oh look, loads of comments, loads of interactions. Let's promote this to more people. And people will hate watch. So if you do see stuff like that, don't interact with it. All you're doing is helping them out. Just say, hey, no, I don't recommend this channel to me, please. And even for people who don't actively dislike, it's just, I don't want to watch their content. It's actually good because what that does is, if you're getting recommended something from a channel you don't actually like, you're not going to be clicking on their videos. So you're not going to be increasing their watch rate, their click-through rate. And because you're getting recommended and you're not clicking, that's actually negative on them. Whereas if you say, hey, I don't want to watch this content, don't recommend this channel anymore, it won't get recommended to you, meaning their click rate goes up. Meaning you actually help them out. So if there's someone, you don't dislike them, you just don't want to watch their videos, that's what you do. That's because of the dislikes on Disney trailers, they stop the SmolBossin getting promoted. Yeah. I don't think it's just that. I think there's a lot of stuff where it's like that. I think it's always been a bit like that because YouTube effectively recognized long time ago, because YouTube wants you watching for videos. They want you to watch every single video that goes onto their platform. As many videos as possible, watch as many ads as possible, or get YouTube Premium. Because that makes money for them. Every single video on YouTube that's not getting likes, that's not getting watched, that's not getting ad revenue generated, it's not making money for them. So they don't care how much of a slop fest your videos are, how bad they are. They want people to watch them. And what they realise is hate watching is a thing. That there's people out there, like PewDiePie, he got a lot of views, but a lot of those views and a lot of those dislikes, especially on some of his videos, were just people hate watching. And the same goes for a lot of channels out there. There's a lot of hate watching going on. And they realise, hey, people click on things they hate. They will dislike the stream, they will dislike the videos, they will comment on them how bad they are and stuff like that. And for the next time a video from this channel gets recommended to them, they'll do the exact same thing. And YouTube's like, that means they're watching adverts. That means they're getting adverts and they're potentially clicking on them that appear next to the videos. That means we can make money from people hating something. And as a result, YouTube's like, I want that money. Which also means why you get so much AI slop generated stuff, you know, these grifting things and all sorts, because YouTube makes money from them. Even if no one out in the world likes these videos that is being produced, enough people hate them to such an extent that they'll interact with them, and it makes money. So the best thing to do is for these types of things, just say, and literally it's a win-win situation for if you just say, don't recommend these videos or don't recommend this channel to me. Because if it's like when it comes to hate watching and stuff and all these really horrible slopfest stuff going out there, if everyone just stops interacting with them and just says, hey, don't recommend this anymore, they'll stop making money, as a result, they'll have to stop making videos. Whereas the people who are making good content is not for everybody, it's going to increase their click-through rate. which will mean it gets recommended to more people who might actually want to watch it. So it's all good in the end. Here's your YouTube stuff. Here's you learn how to YouTube. As you can imagine, I've done a lot of learning how YouTube works. Some of it voluntarily, some of it just because it happens. Okay, yeah, her skin, her face is an absolute mess. I need to see if I've got like a different pink colour that works better on her cheek. Maybe Fulgrim pink would be better on her cheeks, actually. It might be better. I was thinking it'd be too bright, but maybe pink horror was too dark. Who's the little guy you're holding? This guy. This is a woman. She's a Votann. She goes at the back of a Kapricus carrier. She stands on a little thing here. Her gun goes here. It's a bit broken there. And I'll glue it in once the Kapricus carrier is fully painted. But for now, I've not glued her in just so I can paint her easier. But yeah, she holds the autocannon, which I believe is... Oh gosh, I can see some of the areas where I need to get some more paint into it. Yeah, there's actually 2 of them. This guy's a dude, he's got a beard. Yeah, we got some Fulgrim pink on her face, maybe. Maybe that will work. I'm thinking maybe everyone who's not got a helmet, it might be fun to try and give them like dyed hair colours. Because if any faction uses dyed hair, I can imagine it being Votann. But the corporate ones, the capitalist corporate dudes who actually believe in personal freedoms and stuff like that. But at least to some extent. I can imagine there's a Votann group out there, or a group of kin out there, selling hair care products. And hair dyes. Also, I can imagine there's just like certain schemes, which is how the clones work. It's something to do with the clones. That are just fair to for colourful hair. I wonder how pop culture the Imperium has. I think dyed hair is actually something in the Imperium again. I swear I saw... Actually, it might be in Kaifus Kane again for some person with pink hair. Although it turned out to be a wig because she was a gene stealer. Okay, that might have been a spoiler. Sorry about that. But yeah, so... Pop culture does have people wearing colourful, like, wigs and hair dyes and stuff like that. I need like a very stiff brush I can use to effectively clean up the model. We also know that they have TV. They do have like shows and programs and stuff. You can imagine most are themed towards propaganda. But there's a lot of shows out there that are propaganda in real life that you wouldn't necessarily think about were like propaganda. Okay, that was not good. think I actually scraped away some of the paint then. Okay, how does she look now? She looks a little better, actually. The main issue is the paint's not smooth on her face. Her eyes are a bit too bright. I should have used Administratum Grey or something. Or Dawnstone Grey rather than white. But yeah, it's just not the worst one ever. But otherwise, colour scheme is fine. Not sure about the black stuff, as I said. Might not do that in the future on the models. They do look like Nerf guns though, which is hilarious. I do like that. If they don't look like proper guns. But yeah, so next time, water down for Reichland Flesh Shade a lot more and only put it in certain areas. I think that's an important note to make. Don't put Reichland Earth Shade on the yellow, not Flesh Shade rather, on the yellow. Instead, we will use the Iodine Yellow. And when it comes to the skin, start with a darker tone and then just work it to lighter tones. And maybe put like a pink tone into the middle of it while we're working into the lighter tones. And then use grey for the eyes rather than white. I thought the white would be fine because relatively light skin tone anyway. But yeah, we'll paint the next one of these gunners off stream as another test. Testing out the ideas that I just laid out. Not off stream, on Wednesday. We'll paint it on I've got a member stream on Wednesday. Smash! Yeah, where is it? We got, yeah, member stream on Wednesday. I'll get the schedule up tonight. And that's where we'll be painting for other Votann model. For Forge Fiend, we'll be also looking at the Combat Patrol magazine this week. Tomorrow we won't be painting Votann. We'll be painting back our Mechanicus. And I'll try to finish off all the cleaning up on from off stream. So we can just get onto shades, details and stuff like that. That would be fun. So, and probably on Sunday we'll be back to painting Mechanicus as well. So, well, thank you for coming to the stream today. Let's go over here. Let's go over here. So I can give it big old love hearts. Yay! Don't forget to like the stream if you did enjoy it. I hope you did. And don't forget to work hard and play harder. Eat good food. Sleep well. Dream of cupcakes, but don't eat for cupcakes and friends, not food. Also, take care of yourself and be kind to others and vice versa. Goodbye, everyone. Love hearts you all. Goodbye. Yeah. Bye-bye. Oh, how do I end again? Yeah. Smash. Love you all.